Yo, 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 Zinger Nation, what's good? Happy, what day is it? It's Friday? Hell yeah, it's Friday. Happy Friday, everyone. Hope you're doing well. My name is Logan Ross, and this is Moon or Bust, Benzinga's show for all things altcoins and decentralized finance. We have a crazy day going on at the office. We have our quarterly meeting going on, so I am not in the normal space. I am kicked out to the blue room. Ryan has been kicked out to the green screen room because he's got the #1 Dex trader background. We'll bring him in a second. Yeah, let's just bring him on right now. So we have two wonderful co-hosts. We have the DeFi React developer, Brian Moir himself. How are you today, Brian?
Oh, just lovely.
me too, man. Glad to hear it. And we also have #1 Dex trader, Ryan McNamara. How are you, buddy? We appreciate you for tuning in today. We appreciate you bearing with the technical difficulties we've been having ongoing. We are all kind of scrambling. But I'll take a breath and we'll be on our way. So speaking of technical difficulties, Alena has yet to respond to me. And so as of right now, the interview is canceled / postponed. But the news is not. So first up, Circle is going public via SPAC. So if you're not familiar with Circle, they are the Coinbase venture, like the partner that Coinbase works with to create their USDC stablecoin. Ryan, do you want to fill us in on this?
Yeah, sure. So they just Circle just announced yesterday that they're going public via SPAC. The SPAC that's acquiring them is Concord Acquisition Corp, and they're valued at $4.5 billion. Not much is going to change with Circle. The CEO is staying the same. I think the SPAC's buying around 15% of the company. But this will allow them to go public, which is super cool. I think this is the first stablecoin company to go public. And they have about $25 billion in stablecoins managed right now. I'd be interested to see whether or not the stablecoin gets bigger once it's public. I personally think it will because of the distrust with USDT, which is the largest stablecoin right now. I think people might go over to USDC with the transparency of going public.
Definitely.
You think the same, Logan?
Yeah, I think so too. They have a lot of investors looking to them to drive their share prices up. So they need to be doing everything right. And they will also increase publicity. So yeah, I think USDC will become an increasingly more trustworthy stablecoin and an increasingly more popular one. I know I like to use USDC.
Yeah.
Thank you for that. Insightful, Brian. Very insightful. Okay, so next up, Jack Dorsey's Square. So if you guys don't know what Square is, that's that little white thing that people plug into their phones. You swipe your credit card on it. It's basically payment processing for the modern age. But as you guys know, Jack Dorsey is a Bitcoin maxi, and he has added Bitcoin to Square's balance sheet, and he has now confirmed that Square is building their own hardware wallet, their own Bitcoin hardware wallet. I personally can't wait to see what this looks like. I think Dorsey will do something cool. It's going to look futuristic, and so I'm excited to see what that's going to be like. I already have a Ledger Nano X, so I don't need a strictly Bitcoin wallet right now. But yeah, it'll be cool to see more people get into the game right now. Ledger, Trezor, those are really the only two mainstream options. So it'll be cool. What do you guys think?
Logan, has it been clarified whether it's just a Bitcoin wallet or if it's going to be a multi-currency wallet?
So I have to think that it's a multi-currency wallet, right? But so far I've just seen them calling it a Bitcoin wallet, so I'm not sure.
Well, okay, so they're planning on building a Bitcoin hardware wallet.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of open-ended because you don't really know what that will all entail. Because if it's just a Bitcoin hardware wallet, then it's only going to be the Cash App Bitcoin, whatever you can buy there, and that's going to limit them. So I think they're going to expand to have the normal Litecoin, Dogecoin, Ethereum, all that other kind of stuff into their hardware wallet. They had, what was it? The company had purchased over 8,000 BTC by the time that the Bitcoin 2021 Miami conference happened. So, they have a lot of room to expand. They have a lot of stuff that they have to work out and, kind of take care of. but I think it's going to incorporate a whole bunch more different cryptocurrencies. I think they're going to kind of pull a what kind of like Coinbase is doing, but limited to Bitcoin, Litecoin, Ethereum, Dogecoin, but expand on that, kind of like what Ledger has. I think they're going to be a better Ledger Nano.
Yeah, I'm also interested to see what price point they come in at. With all their funding, they can add this this product without making profit on it yet. So they may be able to undercut the entire market. So I'm interested to see what they do with that. All right, let us know.
There's definitely a lot more than just this Bitcoin wallet that's like coming out with this, right? I'm not looking at this as just another hardware wallet because Square owns Square and they also own Cash App, right? So there's like a huge potential to have a bunch of interoperability between all these programs. I think this could bring light to like security with cryptocurrency, and that, you know, using a hardware wallet's important, especially if you have like a decent sum of funds in cryptocurrency.
And they say hardware, but I think they also mean like a cold wallet. I think they also mean a web-based wallet that you can have in your Cash App. That's what I think the whole ordeal entails. I think this can be a lot more than what we think right now.
Yeah, very cool. So we'll make sure to keep you guys updated on what happens with that. But next up, Steve Wozniak, co-founder of Apple, he announced, he made a comment on a panel saying that Bitcoin is the most amazing mathematical miracle. So there's some very complex prime number factoring mathematics that happen behind the scenes in Bitcoin that are used to provide security through cryptography and really hard factoring problems. Like if I ask you the factors of 15, you say 5 and 3. But if I ask you the factors of 10, 100 quadrillion, you're not going to be able to tell me very quickly. I mean, that was an even number, so maybe. But
10, 100, 1,000, 10,000, 100,000.
Did you work in Mathnasium or something?
I did. That's why I'm the number one Dex trader. Obviously, I'm good at math.
Boom!
Man, you are quick with it. But yeah, so Steve Wozniak has publicly come out supporting Bitcoin, supporting cryptography, supporting blockchain technologies. He says Bitcoin is better than gold. So if that is true, then we will eventually see Bitcoin have a higher market cap than gold. Right now, Bitcoin's market cap is like 600 trillion or 600 billion, excuse me. Gold's market cap is 10 trillion. So you know, there's a lot of room for growth if what he says is accurate. And you know, he has been pretty disruptive and innovative in the past, so we'll see if that continues on. Alrighty, so I want to point out a comment from Ed. Shout out to the ETH hat. If you guys haven't seen, we have some brand new Moon or Bust merch. I am repping it right now. I got the Ethereum dad hat on. It's got embroidered Moon or Bust logo on the side, embroidered Ethereum on the top. And so I just want to plug the Moon or Bust swag.benzinga.com. I also got this Decentralized Everything shirt on. And you can find this all and more on swag.benzinga.com. And check out the link in the description below. We have a Telegram chat. If you join that, we'll give you 25% off on your merch purchase.
All swag.
On all swag, so you don't want to miss out on that. While you're in the description, check out the Benzinga Crypto YouTube channel. This is a new channel that we just started that has all the clips and all the highlights from the crypto shows. So if you're here just for crypto and you don't want to get the all the spam from the Benzinga Clips channel, head over to the Benzinga Crypto channel where you can find the content that's made for you. And make sure to subscribe, make sure to like the videos so more people can find them. We're trying to grow that channel, so we really appreciate your subscription. All right, back to reality here. What do we have up next today?
Well, we can go into what this person said. Oh, no, not that one. This one. Talk about the block one. But the one thing is, we want to do a full episode on this because this is a lot to take in. So, in short, Block One has now become one of the first companies to be involved. Well, crypto-only companies to be involved in the full SPAC, which is one of their subsidiaries, Bullish. And this is a lot to dive into, and we haven't done the full research that we want to bring to you guys. So we will have an episode on this probably Monday. We'll have a full segment about it. But I just wanted to let you know that we will talk about it because it's pretty big news. And I know Chris, one of our best helps with Minerbus, and he does amazing with his show. We will get into this. We'll dive really deep and let you know, but just give us some time.
For sure. Yeah, there's a lot to unpack here. So we want to make sure that we do it right. Yes, indeed. That's that. What's up next? Okay, so I want to update you guys on my LP position. We were doing I was trying to add liquidity to Uniswap last week on the show, or on Wednesday on the show, but I was having some difficulties with the transactions, but I figured it out. I've got a couple positions now, and I want to show you guys, show them off to you. Ryan, can you give us a quick overview of Uniswap and liquidity providing while I'm figuring this out?
Spit it out,
sure. So
trader.
I feel like I've done this a million times now, but yeah, sure. So Uniswap's a decentralized exchange. It's different than a centralized exchange because nobody controls it. It's on the blockchain. It runs on Ethereum. The two blockchains that currently have decentralized exchanges that are popular are Binance Smart Chain and Ethereum. And the way that these exchanges get liquidity, instead of holding custody over investors' funds, they ask people to stake liquidity on their platforms. And for doing so, you earn trading fees, which is basically just passive income you can get from staking your cryptocurrency on these platforms inside of smart contracts on Ethereum's network. So you'd be entering into a specific smart contract, say in Logan's case, Decentraland and Ethereum. And then whenever somebody wants to trade their Ethereum for Decentraland or trade their Decentraland for Ethereum, then they pay a 0.3% fee. And if Logan is in range on his position, he'll earn a portion of those fees, which come in every time somebody trades.
Okay, so what I did here is I put in like 1,000 mana tokens, the Decentraland token, and I put in a little bit of ETH, and you can see my current distribution here. So as the price of the pair increases and decreases, my liquidity will be used to provide swaps, and my position in each will be adjusted accordingly. And I am earning the 0.3% fee for providing the liquidity on these swaps. I've had it for a day and a half now, and I've made $7, so I cannot complain with that. I chose a pretty big range to provide liquidity within, and so hopefully I'll be earning fees for a longer amount of time, even though it's a smaller rate. Ryan, you went on the smaller side of providing liquidity, right? So you chose a smaller range to provide liquidity in, and so when you are in range, you're earning way more. So you're accumulating much more quickly than I am, for example. So do you want to talk about why you decided to go for the smaller range? What's the benefits of that?
Yeah, so it is a trade-off, and it's really hard to tell what type of interest you'll be earning. A common question is, what kind of interest can you earn on Uniswap? And it's very hard to tell. It's not like Aave where you can go on and you see the deposit, and the deposit rate's like 5%, right? Mm-hmm. You go in, you can see the total value locked, you can see the trading volume, and you can see where that liquidity is staked. So you get all these different metrics, but you don't actually get an interest rate. And one of the reasons is because we don't know the future price of these tokens. And if it goes out of range, you won't be earning interest. So if you have a more concentrated range, you'll be earning higher interest, but for a smaller proportion of the time, because you won't always be in range. If you have a wider concentrated position, then you'll be earning fees for a longer amount of time, but you'll be earning a lesser proportion of those fees. Mm-hmm. So it's a trade-off. You have to, kind of look at some charts, see where it's trading in between, and then, think about how long you want to have the position for. If you plan on just staking and leaving it for a long time, say like 6 months or a year, then you might want to go for a less concentrated position. But if you're looking at it as an investment that you want to just do over a week or two, maybe you can go more concentrated and hopefully earn more fees. And then something else you have to consider right now is gas prices, right? Because Logan's made $8 over the past couple of days, but you can't really take that out because it's going to cost him $10, $20 to take it out.
Right, and it also cost me like $150 to put the liquidity in. So that's my break even. And that was tough. So the first one I did on Wednesday, that one cost me like $150 in gas fees to insert this liquidity. But these two I did on Thursday. I did them yesterday. Gas fees were much lower, and they were about $40 a pop. So that was much more economical, and I'll ROI pretty quickly on those. But like it kind of makes it improbable, prices out a lot of people who don't have a big enough position. So like if you want to have at least $1,000 probably around there for you to justify that $100 gas fee, and then because it's gonna take you quite a while to earn that back, to just break even.
Yeah, but you guys also have to keep in mind that Optimism and Arbitrum are coming to Uniswap, so soon you'll be able to do this for $1 or $2, and you can put in a lot less capital and still make good returns.
Yeah, and then when ETH 2.0 comes out, I mean, it's going to be a non-factor. Also, it's going to be cents, just like the Binance Smart Chain.
Okay, so we'll look here. I have the basically 0.1 to 0.2 price range. So we'll pull up the Aave ETH pair. So 0.1 is right here. Let me close this out. 0.1 is right here, and 0.2 is right here. So long as the Aave ETH pair is trading within this range, I will be providing liquidity to people, and they will be paying me for it. So it's been in this range since April. And I'm hoping it will stay in there for at least a couple more months. I'll definitely be able to make some decent cash on my just basically money that's sitting around collecting dust. I might as well be earning interest on it. And yeah, so the way that you earn interest. Yeah, let's talk about some price impact after you say what you're about to say.
Sure. So I was just going to point out, I put in a couple more positions on Uniswap about 10 days ago, and I've already made about 4% return on each of those pools over 10 days. So
wow.
Extrapolating that out, assuming I was in range over the entire year, 360 days, so that'd be 36 times 4 would be like 130% returns on my investment. Obviously, it's not going to stay in that range for the entire year, but I mean, still 4% return on my investment over just a 10-day period is great. I mean, that's what you'll be making in a year on Aave. So definitely some very impressive returns that you can be making, but you do have to keep in mind when you'll be in range and that you won't always be in range.
Yeah, most definitely. Okay, so why do you earn so you earn fees for providing this liquidity, but you're also exposed to some downside. So you might ask, what's the catch? The catch here is impermanent loss. So say that it goes above this range, goes above the 0.2 range. At that point, I will be 100% in ETH. And say it goes below this range, so it drops down to here, I will be in 100% Aave, because I'm providing liquidity. People are swapping into those, and I'll just end up with only one of those tokens when it goes out of the range. So you could think about it maybe as like a fee earning limit order. Yeah, I'm saying that right. And so that is called impermanent loss, and that is what I'm exposing myself to, and that's how I'm able to capture the profit. So I'm being paid for exposing myself to impermanent loss. If you want to learn more about that, there's a great thread on Twitter that Hayden Adams did, and you can check it out, learn more there. Got anything else to say about this, Ryan or Brian?
I'd point out impermanent loss is called impermanent because it's impermanent in most cases. I mean, it obviously depends on what you're investing in. Impermanent loss is definitely something to consider when you're investing or providing liquidity on tokens that might never go back up, or if you're providing liquidity with shitcoins. But if you're bullish on two tokens and it goes down, and say you have 100% Aave instead of 50-50 Aave and ETH, as long as Aave returns back to the proportional value that it has with ETH when you put it in, then that impermanent loss will go back to zero.
Yes, thank you for pointing that out. So I've only provided liquidity for pairs that I'm bullish on both assets, so Mana, Aave Link, and of course ETH. So if I do go out of range for a certain period of time, I'm going to be chilling. Not too worried about it. And this isn't my whole portfolio, obviously. I have a lot of it on a hardware wallet, just sitting around for the long haul. Okay, so we got a lot of comments to catch up on. Adjum wants to know how annoying is doing taxes for things like this. I have no clue, and I'm not looking forward
it's
to
very
Yeah, there was actually a report that I saw saying that Uniswap V3 isn't a taxable event. I don't know if that's confirmed or not. I don't
do
think it's
not
confirmed
take
by
that
the
as
SEC.
advice.
Yeah, that's not tax advice, but I've heard that it's not a taxable event. And yeah, I mean, do what you want with that
Okay,
information.
so I'll leave this out there. Anything you do on MetaMask is between you and whatever you're doing. If you take that money out of MetaMask that you have, you will be taxed, because if you take it to your bank account or if you take it to your debit card, whatever you do, that will be taxed. Any currency that you exchange for fiat into, a account that you own, you are going to be taxed. Now, anything you do in MetaMask, that's between you and whatever you're doing. I don't want to say a whole lot to, not, make it come
The
back on
SEC
us.
doesn't know about MetaMask.
Yeah, but of course they do. But you definitely need to just, make sure you're doing everything in your what's the word? You're taking into account every transaction you're doing. Do not just try to avoid the SEC or avoid paying your taxes. You will, need to pay them eventually. But anything you do on, if you buy some on PancakeSwap and you hold that for a year, that's on you. You don't have to pay taxes on that as long as you hold it. But again, none of this is tax advice. Just, stay decentralized.
If you don't sell, you don't have to pay taxes, right? Exactly. Once ETH is used as money, it doesn't matter. Just use your ETH, right?
Boom.
Okay, so you guys want to do some moon or bust?
Yeah, that's all we got right now.
That is all we got indeed. Okay, so if you guys are new around here, Moon or Bust is the segment where you guys drop cryptocurrencies, altcoins in the description, or in the comments, I mean. And we'll pull them up on CoinMarketCap. We'll give them a high-level overview, and we'll give them a moon or bust rating. So I'm going to roll the intro clip, but guys, drop some tickers in the chat right now, so we have stuff to talk about. Alrighty, so while we're waiting for our first one, let's just pick one on our own. What do you guys want to talk about? Maybe we just do a market overview.
Let's go ADA.
ADA? All
yeah,
right, cool.
I don't think we've actually done a moon or bust on ADA.
Really?
I don't think so. It's a moon. Okay. I'm just going to let you know this is a certified moon.
Okay, so a lot of people that are newer into crypto are looking straight to Cardano because it's getting a lot of hype right now. It's dubbed the Ethereum killer, but it doesn't really solve the blockchain trilemma like a lot of people think it does. And once it starts picking up activity, once there's smart contracts on it, some reality will begin to sink in, I think, for a lot of Cardano holders. But yeah, that's...
But do you think it's a bust?
No,
I think it's a bust. I don't like
Cardano.
Oh, shit.
Drama.
They get in here with all their smarts, using academics, saying that they're the best blockchain for academic reasons. I think, there's some questions to be had with Cardano. How much value is locked on Cardano smart contracts? Does Cardano have smart contracts? Do they have an ecosystem? Are people actually using Cardano? Who has a Cardano NFT? Not me.
No one. And you're right. You have a foolproof, yes, everything you're saying is right. And they don't have smart contracts. They don't have any liquidity locked. They don't have any of that. I think in a couple years, and I say years with, years, they will be huge. But it's going to take time. It's a slow burn.
Yeah. And even though I'm not a fan of Cardano, I still think it's going to go up with a bull run. And I think you can make great returns from it. I don't really like the project just because it doesn't really have an ecosystem and people aren't using Cardano for what it's intended for just yet. And another reason I don't like it is because I think a lot of people in cryptocurrency underestimate the effects of network effects, because I think that network effects are extremely important in crypto, and Cardano just doesn't have the user base that Ethereum does with the billions of dollars locked. And I think it would be extremely hard to compete with Ethereum at this point. And if if a cryptocurrency does want to compete with Ethereum, I think that they're going to need an ecosystem out this year before ETH2 comes out. Period.
Okay, so the only point I'll say against that is you're right. Ethereum does have a much larger ecosystem. They do have a larger user base, but Cardano was built to be a ledger for, what's the word? Not a supply chain ledger. And so they were kind of built to serve one purpose, and then they expanded their whole business plan. And so I think that Cardano is going to be the corporate and more like what Microsoft does, and I mean IBM does, and all those other kind of big name technology companies. They're going to kind of take over that whole space. They do have smart contracts, but I don't think they're trying to be Ethereum. I think that they're going to be their own, their own entity. They're going to be their own kind of ledger on supply chain, that whole space. And so I think that Cardano is going to be much, much, much bigger than what we can see right now, because they're not trying to be the Ethereum. They're not trying to be this decentralized whole metaverse and all this other stuff. They're trying to be the number one blockchain that you can go to get your corporate needs met. That's a very weird way to explain what I'm trying to say, but I think that's kind of what they're going for. And that's my opinion. I see a lot of potential with Cardano, and ADA is going to go skyrocketing. I think ADA is going to be right there with Ethereum at the point it is now. In 5 years, we'll see ADA at, that $1,000 mark, or probably $200 mark. I'll go more, liberal with it. About $200 mark, and Ethereum be about $5,000, and Bitcoin would be about, I don't know, 100 grand. I think that's kind of be the level. I think that Cardano is right there with Ethereum, right there with Bitcoin.
All right, so I have a lot of thoughts about what you guys just said. First of all, if Cardano is at 200, you can't even display what its market cap would be on the Google calculator, because it would just be it'd be what, 80, and then we add
8.6 trillion maybe.
But I think it'd be
Okay.
80 trillion, 86 trillion.
Well, $10. Yeah,
I did not take into account what the total supply was when I said that. I will pull back what I said because I am wrong.
Okay, so $200 for Cardano might be a little bit unrealistic, but in the long term, who knows? I think that Cardano will do a lot of good things this bull market. I think that the price could even approach closer to $10 within the next year, which is really crazy. I do hold a little bit of Cardano, primarily as a hedge to my ETH position, and because I think that it'll have more volatility than ETH will. So people talk about crypto being a speculative investment, but Cardano is truly a speculative investment, even compared to Bitcoin and Ethereum. Bitcoin and Ethereum are not so much speculative at this point, in my opinion, but something like Cardano is definitely.
They don't have a product out yet.
They don't have a product out. So they have a 2-layer blockchain. They have a transaction layer, and they have a computing layer. So this computing layer will handle the smart contracts. The transaction layer will handle the payments. This will help it not to get clogged, like often happens on Ethereum. But they do not have smart contracts available to the public yet. They have proved that they can get them to work, but they do not have them implemented on chain yet.
Well, they're on their testnet. You can deploy your own smart contracts on testnet right now. Yeah, as a user.
But yeah, so there's still like billions and hundreds of billions of dollars behind the total value locked in Ethereum. And in my opinion, it's too little, too late for the so-called Ethereum killers, especially with the Ethereum 2.0 upgrade, the transition to proof of stake. There will really be no reason to use a different blockchain unless you don't care about decentralization. So this is where I think Cardano might find its niche. Like Brian was saying, Cardano is going to be less decentralized than Ethereum is, just because they have a bigger block size. That's one reason that will make it definitively less decentralized. and it will find its niche. It will exist into the future. It's probably a good product. They have a really strong team behind them, and they have a lot of backing from venture capitalists. From I think someone in the chat said even Mark Cuban's invested in them. So, I'm optimistic. I'm hopeful. I do hold it because I think it will go up with the rest of the bull run, like Ryan said. But also, like Ryan said, they don't have an ecosystem, and DeFi is kind of, going on without them, leaving them in the dust.
Well, they're not there for DeFi. That's one thing that you need to keep in mind.
So you're saying they're here for supply chain? Then how are they going to beat the Thor chain, the V chain? Because the V chain is already being picked up by all these companies for supply chain. So
they don't have to beat them. What I'm saying is they have a niche. It doesn't have to be decentralized. Binance Smart Chain is not decentralized, and look how far it's gone. And it has DeFi and all this other stuff. Like, you got to think about the niche that it fits into, why it was built, where it was built to fit in.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not about like being decentralized. I just see a lot of growth with Cardano. There's a lot of stuff that it can do and it will do. But yeah, when I said $200, I will take that back. I am wrong. I mean, it would take a whole lot. I mean, $8 trillion, it'd be a whole lot for it to get there. But I see a lot of potential in it. I mean, same thing with EOS, same thing with one of those, XLM, one of those, and those are payment providers, but they have they have their own kind of niche system for corporate structure. They don't need to be decentralized. And I know our show is mainly about decentralization, DeFi, and all that kind of stuff, but I see a lot of potential in ADA. I see a lot of potential in these other guys too.
Mm-hmm. So this, I think, is the perfect time to bring up the blockchain trilemma. So you can have two of the three, but not all three. There are a lot of blockchains out there that promise to deliver on all three, but as soon as they start seeing some volume, it all collapses because of the scaling. And so if you have scalability, so you have a big block size, then your block size, your total size of the blockchain is going to increase exponentially. So if we look at Bitcoin's blockchain, it's been around for about 10 years. It's about 300 gigabytes. If we look at Solana's blockchain, which has been around for about 4 or 5 months, it's 2 terabytes already. And they're having to offload all of that storage because they cannot have they cannot expect every node to be able to handle all this data. It makes it insanely slow and insanely centralized because only massive data centers could run a full node. So that's why Bitcoin's 1 megabyte block size is extremely important because it scales exponentially with time. So in order for Bitcoin to stay decentralized, it needs to have this small block size. So that is why you cannot have decentralization, scalability, and security all at once. And that's why Bitcoin and Ethereum, they both chose decentralization and security over scalability. These new proof of stake chains are taking scalability first and then security as well, and they're sacrificing levels of decentralization for that. So yeah, I want to toss it over to you guys, Ryan and Brian. What do you guys think about the blockchain trilemma here?
I think it's spot on. Go ahead, Ryan, but I agree.
Yeah, I just want to clarify. I mean, you can have all three. It's not that a blockchain can't be decentralized, scalable, and secure.
Show me
Ethereum.
one.
I'd say Ethereum is scalable with layer 2s and with
ETH2. Ryan's right.
Right, and even proof of stake blockchains, they're still secure and decentralized to some degree, right? The blockchain trilemma is more about you can't increase one of these without decreasing another.
Okay, but I disagree. The layer 2s and the side chains are not, they're not decentralized.
Well, not every company is brandishing that they are decentralized, scalable, and have security. No one is saying like a full, well, there are a bunch of people saying that they're fully decentralized, but no one's saying that they have all three. This isn't like, this is a DeFi movement. This is a decentralized movement, but no one is like promoting that they have all three and then you find out that they don't, in their own kind of space. I mean, what companies say that they have all three though?
I mean, PancakeSwap calls it decentralized, right? Like Binance Smart Chain says it's decentralized.
So they are, but they're not.
Right. Yeah, we
Yeah.
know that Binance Smart Chain isn't decentralized, well, at least to a degree. I guess you could say they are because anybody who has enough money could run a node, and they still have like maybe 20 nodes on the blockchain. So they have a degree of decentralization, but it's nowhere near the degree of decentralization that, say, Ethereum has. But because they sacrifice part of that decentralization for scalability, they're able to scale much faster.
Yeah.
And so I just want to go back to the point that Polygon, their bridges have 3 master nodes. Like there's only 3 nodes that are controlling those bridges to the side chains. That's not decentralized, but it is scalable and it is secure. So, you know, there's always these trade-offs. I have yet to see a product that can deliver on all 3. But yeah, hey, who knows? Time will tell. And maybe if data and storage becomes irrelevant in the future, then it will be possible. But until that happens, this is the paradox that we exist and we have to deal with. And it will be the deciding factor on which blockchains get used for which products and services, and how much decentralization really matters versus scalability and security.
Well, I mean, that is true, but you also got to look at what is the company, what is a project trying to achieve? Like, is it okay? Like, can you, like, as a investor, can you sacrifice the decentralization with the scalability in the other one? Can you sacrifice the scalability for full decentralization? Like, it's kind of give and take. Like, you're right. It's very, very hard to have all 3 and then someone profit from it. But a lot of these people are trying, like, their companies, their projects that they want to grow and to be this big thing. Bitcoin started as this whole decentralized payment system that no one can control. Agreed. And that's how this whole movement should be. And I'm a full supporter of decentralized everything. But that's not what all these companies are trying to do. They're trying to make a profit. And, talking about as an investment wise, which one's going to do better, you can't really have all 3. So as saying like, hey, I'd rather invest in ADA or Ethereum. Well, not Ethereum, that's a bad example, but like ADA or EOS, you're like, well, I think that they're going to really, or XLM, I think that they're going to take over the payment space, and they're a good investment because they're going to grow and grow and grow, and you get more and more and more money for your return. But as someone like who really comes at it as a decentralized viewpoint, I'd rather go with Ethereum over anything else because it's fully decentralized. I don't have to have my identity stolen. I can invest in something and know it's secure in a quote unquote sense because there's so many scams out there. But you got to think about it in the sense of like, what are these people doing? What's the project? Where are they coming from? And what is their end goal? And that's where you got to kind of, mix your views and your morals and stuff and figure out like, do I want to invest in this because I want to make money, or do I want to invest in this because I think this is the best thing for society, kind of thing.
Yeah, it doesn't really make sense to like fully decentralize everything, right? Because if we decentralize the things that don't need to be decentralized, then we're just going to clog up the Ethereum chain, right? So that's why some things that have less importance for the decentralization, for the censorship resistance, can exist on these other chains that are still decentralized, but slightly less.
Yeah. Well said.
Thank you, sir.
I think we got a couple more tickers in the chat.
We do have a couple more tickers in the chat. Should we go Ren or Amp?
Caps.
Or Cardonks.
Cardonks.
Start with the first one.
Yeah, Ren. All right. Adjump was.
Oh, that's on Coinbase too. We love it.
Alrighty. So, high level overview. Ren is an open protocol built to provide interoperability and liquidity between different blockchain platforms. Formerly known as Republic, launched in they did their ICO in 2018, launched their mainnet in 2020. I don't exactly know how they provide this interoperability though.
We have been over Ren before.
Yeah, I feel like we talked about this last week. I should remember this.
Have. They do a VM. So they have a virtual machine that like kind of, it's like the Ethereum virtual machine, but they have their own. And so that you go into that, and then in turn you get into all these other chains via their virtual machine. that's the highest level overview you can really get on it.
So Ryan, you want to take a peek at this chart? Let us know what you think.
Sure, you guys share your screen.
Oh, frick, man. I thought I was
Yeah,
showing you this whole time. Alrighty. Here is the chart. It is an Ethereum. Yeah, Ryan, you want to take us through it?
Yeah, I'm having a little. Yeah, let me just zoom in here. So it's Ethereum token. Gotta love Ethereum tokens. We're trading at 36 cents with a market cap of $362 million, ranking at the 113th largest cryptocurrency. Yeah, I do like these cryptocurrencies that are around the 100 mark on CoinMarketCap. With a market cap of just 360 million, I mean, you could still see a 10x from here, maybe even a 20x from here. And we can see its all-time high was above $1.60. So that's kind of like a double-edged sword, right? If you think that the bull market's going to continue, then you would probably think that would go past that $1.60 mark with the markets. But that being said, I mean, it's already dipped. What is that? Like 80% from its all-time highs, which is a crazy amount to dip. Generally speaking, the smaller cryptocurrencies market cap is, the riskier it gets and the more volatile it is. But seeing that is around the 100th largest and it dipped 80%, I mean, that is a really large dip. And I don't really know what caused that. I mean, it could have just been the markets. It could have been something else.
Yeah, so this looks like a good project. They have partnerships with a huge amount of big crypto projects that I like. Curve. They're working with Coinbase. They're working with Balancer. One inch is at 0x. No, zero confirmation. But yeah, so we see they're working with Uniswap too. So we see that they're actively working with all these projects. They must have some good stuff going on behind the scenes. They must have a pretty good development team. So from a fundamental perspective, I'm going to give this one a moon.
Yeah, I agree. Sorry, my dogs were getting into something they shouldn't have.
I'll give it a moon as well. So we have consensus.
Yeah, I think Ren is a bona fide great investment. Well, okay, I take that back. Great, bona fide great crypto.
Not investment advice.
Yeah, not an investment.
Alrighty. So that's it for Ren. Officially a moon. Should we do AMP now?
Yeah, we've done AMP before as well.
You guys seeing anything that hasn't been done before?
DRCT.
DRGN.
Yeah.
DRCT. I'm not DRGN.
That's Ed Miles said DRCT.
Yeah.
What's DRG? So we got some.
Yeah,
there we go. DRCT.
I do not know that one.
Allied
By the way, you guys need to follow Ed on Twitter or in the Telegram. Talk to him. He's our dude.
But not before following me on Twitter, guys.
Yeah, you gotta follow us first.
Priorities.
Then we got you, Ed.
Okay, so Ally is the 3,708th biggest token listed on CoinMarketCap. According to their description, this is a software as a service platform that directly connects businesses, service providers, and customers built on the blockchain. The platform provides enterprise technology to merchants and service providers that remove unnecessary costs and maximize profits. So that's a lot of words that didn't give me a lot of information. Let's see. Check out their website.
Their chart looks all right, though. I mean,
Yeah.
It's sideways, and that's always good. It's not like a huge dip up, a huge
Looks like a stable coin.
up or a huge dip down. I like a sideways chart with crypto. That's what you want to look for, to be honest, because if it goes sideways for a while,
it's been going sideways for 7 days, mind you.
Yeah, you can see you'll see the dip up. I mean the jump up, and I think a sideways chart is always something you want to look for. Not a huge.
What's the volume though? I mean, that chart looks like there might be low volume with it being flat, but then really, really sharp spikes.
Basically, no volume.
The volume is only 24,000. So, yeah, you'll have. You're not going to have much action. But I mean, I don't know much about the company or what they're trying to do. The description they have on there doesn't really tell me anything.
Mm-mm. They got Chuck E. Cheese as a partner, though. I'm sold.
Well, okay, you're in.
And Cold Stone.
That's a booming.
I think I'd prefer Chuck E. Cheese tokens, honestly.
Either that or Cold Stash.
Yeah, I mean, they're claiming to do big things, and another thing here is they're looking at working with big companies, and if they're working with these big institutions, then why isn't their market cap bigger? I think that if they were to get some big partnerships, then maybe their market cap would go up and it would be more promising. But I mean, at this point, it seems like it would just be a gamble, especially at below the 3,000th largest cryptocurrency. Like there's a huge probability that it just goes nowhere.
Yeah, I agree. But well, they have some big clients, so I don't know how to balance that. I'll give this one what are we calling it? A satellite. This one's a satellite. It could do well. You could make some money on this one. It's very small, so if you could figure out how to invest in it, I mean, how do you even get into this?
Well, it's only
it's only on Uniswap.
Yeah, it's only wrapped ETH.
Okay,
and it's only on V2, so you're gonna see some slippage.
Access is restricted though, so you got to go to their other. I don't know, man.
If you guys
about it,
if you guys want to learn how to buy tokens on Uniswap that you can't get anywhere else, check out the DeFi 101 course linked in the description below. We will show you how to get from cash into a super small altcoin just like this via Uniswap. So yeah, just a little plug there. But yeah, what do you guys want to give this one as a rating so we can move on?
Well, okay, so here's something that after looking at the website, it looks like they're a reward system for restaurants. So if you eat at their restaurant, you get this token or something like that. I mean, that's very lucrative. And if they have these huge restaurant chains involved in it, man, I think this could do really well. This is a big thing. These companies now trying out these crypto solutions to, NFTing your rewards memberships, all that other kind of stuff. I can see it doing pretty well, actually.
Well, something else is these companies they're working with, I can't imagine that it's like a nationwide thing. Like, I'm sure they're not at every Cold Stone and every Chuck E. Cheese.
No. Yeah, exactly.
Maybe it's a pilot program. Maybe they're just in the talks. Like, I haven't heard of them yet. They're working with these big companies. Like, it's hard to verify like the level of these partnerships,
Yeah, I totally agree, because they could be just like one-off franchises that have their own owner and say, yeah, let's try this. But they can be, this intuitive, really ingenious plan to make things go big. So I'd agree with the satellite. I think that this thing can actually be something super viable and really big. If it works and they, launch it correctly within the franchises, who knows? It's kind of up to them. But I can see this definitely being very, very viable long-term if done correctly.
Yeah, I mean, if there is adoption, I think that there is huge room for this to grow, especially if they get big partnerships that are nationwide. But I think the most likely scenario is it's not going to moon, so I'm going to give it a bust. But I think if it does moon, it'll probably moon hard. This is one of your tokens that you might want to put $10, $20, $30 in and hope that it 100x's.
Mm-hmm.
In my opinion, not investment advice, of course.
Yeah, I think I might actually go a little heavier on it if I look deeper into it. Personally, this is just for me, because I am very bullish on these solutions. I'm very, very, very bullish on anything that disrupts certain already programs involved, i.e. like ticketing software, people who do NFT ticketing, all this other stuff, these loyalty programs, punch cards for visiting websites, all that kind of stuff. If you can be the first one to go mainstream with it, I think it's going to be you're going to be the next Groupon. You're going to be the next Honey on, the Chrome browser and stuff like that. Like, there's a lot of money to be made in this particular space. So if they get some, leverage and they start taking off, it's going to be huge. But there's a lot of people trying to do exactly what this company is doing, and who knows who has the biggest, stronghold on these companies. But I can see it doing very well. But I'm going to give it a satellite, because who knows if they are the ones doing it really well.
There we go. You heard it here first. All right, next up, Adjum wants to know our favorite not large cap coin/token offered by Coinbase. And I think this could be a cool segment. We can each pick our own
Pull up
little
Coinbase and
favorite.
see what we got. Because we've already done 2 tokens that are on Coinbase. We've done a whole bunch of tokens that are on Coinbase throughout this series of the show.
Okay.
Saying large cap though is kind of hard because you have to meet certain standards on Coinbase.
Yes, I just say outside of the top 10 or outside of the top 20 largest cryptocurrencies.
Yeah, good. And Ed Miles says AMP, and he might be right in that. Or SNX. That's a really synthetic. Those are really big ones. I mean, really good ones.
All right. Well, we have to go tradable here because they wanted to know what's offered on Coinbase. So let's skip to the second page, and we'll call that a low market cap. So, there's Yearn, there's Mana, there's Sushi, there's BAT, 0x.
I would go BAT, BAT. And in all honesty, I've been with the Brave browser since their beta launch in, I think, 2017, 2018.
And pay that BAT every month for using it?
Yeah, all the time. And I have a huge stack of BAT. And it went up quite a bit, over $1, like almost to $2 over the last couple months, and then dropped back down like 30 cents. But BAT is probably going to be one of the biggest ones out here that's been the slowest burn possible because they've been around for a while. But
they've been around a really long time.
They totally changed the game for becoming like the way ads and everything's being used. They just put out their new search browser that's going to rival Google, well, quote unquote, but they don't take any data. They don't use any of your search history or anything like that. And they have an Onion Tor browser built right into their desktop app. Like, Brave is one of my biggest projects that one of the things I support the most out of any crypto or any blockchain projects that I've ever talked to, that I've ever been about. And I really, really like it. I think BAT is going to be huge within the next couple of years. It's just kind of slowed down and kind of dulled out. I'm also part of their not affiliates, but whatever page. And I think that they're going to be huge. They have a lot of things in the works, and I really, really like them.
There you go. So yeah, my picks would be Yearn, Mana, Sushi, Curve. So Loopring is good too. I have a little bit of that. And then let's go to page 3. I think I saw a couple that might be worth pointing out. Balancer is nice. You can earn like 10 to 20% yield on that by staking it on Aave. And yeah, so Coinbase is still vetting their projects pretty hard, so you really can't go too wrong at this point. But yeah, that is our favorite set of coins and tokens that are offered and available on Coinbase. If you don't have
my favorite, Logan, don't you want to know my favorite?
Yeah, come on.
Oh, dude, I'm so sorry. Will you please forgive me, bro?
Yeah, you're forgived. Oh. My favorite smaller market cap coin on Coinbase is Engine. I like Engine.
Okay.
Yes, they have lots and lots of developers working on games on the Engine platform. They're coming to Steam around the end of the year. If they get on Steam successfully with some games, I think they can pop off. And they have a different token standard that literally the founder created with a couple other guys at Ethereum. Like, they have a lot of really smart developers on the team, and they're very innovative. But I think the most important thing about Engine is all the games being created on it right now. I think it's the platform with the most developers developing blockchain-based games on it. So I'm bullish on Engine over this year.
Boom.
I agree. 100% exactly what he said. Engine's going to be huge.
Alrighty. Well, then those are our favorite coins on Coinbase. Sorry for skipping you, Ryan. But unfortunately, we are out of time today. It is now time for Zinger Trivia. If you want to go win some free Benzinga swag, some free clothes, then tune in to Benzinga Trivia. And if you win, you will win a prize. So Yeah, that's all we have time for today. Thank you guys so much for tuning in to this chaotic episode. I hope it was at least a 3 out of 10. And we will see you on Monday. Wait, hold on. Before we go, I want to shout out our crazy schedule next week. So next week, on Monday, we have OKCoin, the exchange. On Wednesday, we have the Cosmos blockchain coming on to talk to us. And on Friday, we have Shiba Inu Part 2 coming on. So we have a jam-packed week next week. You do not want to miss it. So yeah, we look forward to seeing you then. But for now, this has been Moon or Bust, your home for all things altcoins and DeFi. Stay tuned for the redirect to Zinger Trivia. We will see you next week.